Hi everyone, this is Sharon Boon, founder and creator of Passage to Yourself, and we have a very special guest to us, Karen Popoff. Welcome, Karen.
Hi, nice to be here.
Okay, so for those who don't know Karen, Karen is a leader in the fields of intuitive science and vibrational psychology. She has spent many years developing, implementing, and presenting personal healing and wellness programs for people wishing to grow beyond the norm in this world. Her expertise in the areas of training, development, group facilitation, and management development are highly recognized. Karen, you also say that there is magic and power in truth. This is the science of transformation. Karen Popoff is the truth. Karen Popoff is the transformationalist. Welcome.
Thank you. Nice to be here, like I said.
Yes. Now, what we're going to talk about is some of the stuff that you do, and can you tell me what exactly is a transformationalist?
Sure. The work that I do is an energy intuitive-based structure. What I do is help people to break through blocks and barriers in their lives that they haven't been able to do on their own. Sometimes they've been in therapy a long time, and it has only taken them to a certain degree of wellness or happiness or whatever they're trying to achieve. And so what I do is I help them to transform. I help them to shift a paradigm in their life by addressing blocks and belief systems that they may not even be aware of themselves. I do that with an intuitive sense. I use energy work with them, and there is a type of counseling or coaching that goes on in the process. And so I was given the name the Transformationalist by my clients because I was transforming their lives over and over and over again.
Oh, that's amazing. Now, blocks and mindset development is something that's really close to what it is that I do and what I teach. Now, what is there about blocks that you find that stop people from getting what they want? Like, how would you describe a block?
A block, to me, is something that's often been placed into the subconscious without even an awareness. It happens in a childhood dynamic, typically, usually before age 6 for some of the really hanging on kinds of blocks. But it also comes in trauma at other ages where it can be a shocking situation or something that has created stress. There is behavior often that people will use to survive that dynamic. It becomes a subconscious behavior. And if they aren't aware of it, it runs the show. It creates their lives because what you believe creates your life.
Absolutely. Now, if someone wants to transform their life, what would be sort of like the steps, or what would you recommend that they start with?
Well, what we usually do in a session is I get them to talk to me a little bit about what is going on in their life. And because of my intuitive abilities, then I am able to extrapolate what that means. I can understand the language they're talking to me about. So if somebody is saying, well, I'm having a terrible time in relationships, or I'm having a terrible time with money, I know those are two that are connected. They always are. And they are just a metaphor for one another. So then I'm going to work with uncovering the beliefs that are inside of them, in their subconscious, around what they believe about money, about themselves, because that's the first relationship we have to work with. And then how that translates to how they work with people. And it will all come together within the session for them to have their, what I call their aha moment. And they clear energy from that. And then they're aware. Once you're aware of something, you can't go back to being unaware.
Yes, absolutely. I 100% agree with that. Now, if someone, say, has some major trauma and they're not even aware they have this trauma because they've actually blocked it out, how would you even begin to handle that situation? Would it be better for them to go to like a therapist or like a psychiatrist? Or do you think doing what you and I both do, that would be sufficient enough?
I respect the brain. The brain will lock down a memory until the person's ready to hear it, see it, feel it, know it. So I'm not one of those types of healers that feels it is important to re-traumatize the person to bring it forward. When I suspect something has traumatized somebody, I'll ask them, are they aware of anything that they've had happen in their lives? And I can usually pinpoint the ages for them because I know that certain behaviors link back to certain childhood dynamics of development. I specialize in brain development, so that then if they have nothing there, I can word it and angle it in ways to preserve the safety of their lockdown memory, but to encourage them to think about what was going on in their life at those ages and why. I'll talk about the development that happens at those specific ages and how when it's interfered with through stress of some sort, it will lock down as a behavior that's unhealthy for them as an adult. You know, it's great when you're 2 to be 2, but when you're 2 and 60, it's not so great. And I find then they access what they need in the process. Sometimes it opens their memory up right there, and then we'll work with it. But I'm not worried about whether it will or not. I have to preserve the safety of my client.
That absolutely perfect. Now, when someone's coming to you, say for personal development, and they have something that they have a goal, they want to achieve something, and they're just not having a success with it, what would you recommend at that point? Like, what would you do for that situation?
Well, usually when somebody's goals aren't materializing, we have a belief that's blocking them. Their belief is counterintuitive to what their goal is. So what I'll do is I will work with them to show them what their belief, what this external world of theirs is showing them. And I also am a strong believer, and in brain development they talk about it, we need strong support systems around us. So when a person is attempting to achieve a goal and they hit a roadblock or a barrier that is natural in that kind of a process, they need somebody with them to say, you've made a good start, let's keep going, because they forget that they've made that good start. So then I'll encourage them to bring in a healthier support network, especially if they don't have one. And that's often one of the key reasons people can't achieve their goals, because their beliefs have them so caught up in the idea that they're all alone here and that they don't, it won't matter if they make it anyways. So that's kind of the area I'd go towards.
Yeah, beliefs are so important. I know from a personal standpoint, I have not the best belief system in the world. And I didn't think highly of myself. I had no confidence and whatnot. But through working through those belief systems, I was able to build confidence and be able to sit here before you in front of this webcam and shoot this video. And so, I feel very strongly that, if I can do this, then other people can do it as well. Not necessarily sit in front of a webcam, but at least go for what it is that they're after. And really, the one thing that I've always said is that the only person stopping you from achieving anything in life is you. So if you really want to get something, go for it.
Absolutely.
So many people have achieved greatness. And look at J.K. Rowling, the author of Harry Potter. I think at one point I read somewhere that she was either almost homeless or was homeless, and she's now one of the world's wealthiest women. She's a billionaire, and that to me is amazing and just enough that anyone can really go for what they want. Now, do you have any personal thoughts on this?
I do. I honestly believe that anybody can achieve anything. And I also come from, I'm very shy. Actually, by nature, I'm very, very shy. I've learned to use my persona to be able to come out of that, but I'm a very much an introvert. And so I know that anybody can achieve whatever they want. I do a lot of public speaking. I do a lot of events where I'm in front of hundreds of people, and that's fine for me because that part of me has grown up and has come out of the scared little girl. I grew up in an alcoholic home. I grew up with a mother who was young and unable to really cope with some of what was going on. Although she was very good at parenting, it wasn't, she was in overwhelm in her environment. So some of the talents that my children are developing because they're getting the attention that they need, I didn't have. And if I could do it, much like yourself, I've read your story, I agree. If we can do it, anybody can.
Yeah, absolutely. Now, is there anything that we can add to the people watching this that they can do if they're, because I know one of the things about our belief system is that we need to kind of step out of our comfort zone. Our belief system is what's our comfort. And do you have any tips to do that process?
I don't know whether it's a tip or information. I think when we are, what we have to understand is a belief is in the subconscious because the subconscious rules our automatic functions. And what the conscious brain does is it hangs on to something only as long as it needs to learn it, and then it dumps it into the subconscious. And when we want to change it, we have to activate the conscious mind and stay focused. Well, our lives get busy, we get distracted, and our focus wanes. And that old belief will come popping up. It's the subconscious intention to hold on to what it has because it's supposed to rule the automatic systems. So I think people need to know that when they're trying to change a behavior or a belief, a pattern, they need to be consistent. And remember that their focus will shift and wane. But I guarantee if they can hold their focus for a period, it's usually just about a month. It really does take about 30 days for it to start to really settle in. The new belief will be dumped into the subconscious and will take over.
Yes. I find when I talk to people and they have a block and they do have this belief system, there's also like an unwillingness to recognize that it's there, and there's also an unwillingness to want to change because either they don't believe it or what. But for those who do or are willing to change, because they really feel that they don't have any other choice. They've exhausted everything else. And it's even like for health problems and stuff like that. I found like people will come to someone and will go and ask for our help. It's like, okay, I've tried everything from doctors, this, nothing's working. I'm willing to try anything. And at that point, that's the point I go, okay, now we're in for the ride. Now you're going to do what you're going to be able to create what it is that you want, providing they get the right information and whatnot. Now, does that ever happen to you, and how would you handle something like that?
Well, I think partly my reputation precedes me, so by the time somebody comes through my door, they know that I'm going to be right on them about what they're going on or what's going on with them. I use the external as a roadmap to help them understand, and I really listen. They often will say things or drop words unintentionally, and they'll go, no, I didn't mean that. And so I'll pull that forward into our communication, and I'll tell them that is their subconscious communicating with them, that it is part of what they believe and what they are working with, and that grasps their attention. And I'm similar to you. I'll ask them, well, what you're doing right now, is it working for you? Because I don't believe you would have come to work with me if it was. I don't believe that people call me because they're having a perfect life and just want to have a chat. then they're called friends, and that's awesome. But the reality is that when they come to work, they've obviously got something stirring inside that is telling them they need a change. And that's the perfect opportunity. That's the perfect landing zone to say, all right, well, your external is showing us this, this, and this. And in order to change those things, we have to go and deal with these beliefs that underlie it.
Absolutely. Now, you've talked about a little bit about the coaching stuff. Now, do you want to go into a little bit more? That way, in case anyone wants to get a hold of you, they can do so?
Sure. In the coaching, I use my intuitive side as well, and I use energy work. I can't really separate who I am. I'm a healer and an intuitive, and so it all comes in with the package. And so with coaching, typically what I'll do is ask people to make a commitment of 3 to 6 sessions to start. 3 is the bare minimum. And the reason is that I am going to work to get them to do certain activities in between sessions that are intended to stimulate their subconscious. They're intended to stimulate their feelings, their thoughts, their emotions. And from there, I can then zero in and target their goal with them. And the system is very successful. People achieve quite a wonderful change during it. And it's provocative. People, the truth is, not everybody wants to change. They may walk in the door and say they want to, but not everybody wants to change. And so my work is for people who want to change.
Yes, I have found that as well. One of the things that comes up, and sometimes when I work with people, is that, my husband did this. I'm like, if he's not here in front of me, he's not the one I'm working with. I'm working with you. So if you want things to change with your husband, you have to be the one, you have to change. And so that just makes people, they get a little flustered and like, but this is not what I want. And they're like, this is what you're here for. And
I'm the same. I'm very respectful of people who aren't present. I won't work on somebody else. I'm going to work on you because you're the one who came to see me.
Yes. And another thing that I find as well is that when people get motivated and they want to use their belief systems to create a more prosperous life for themselves, they're expecting to win the lottery or something and not do anything to really get what it is that they want. And my always theory on this is that if you want your life to change, you have to change. You have to do some work. You can't sit around watching TV and expecting the lottery to just appear in the middle of it. You've got the phone call. Yes, you just won $10 million and such and such. No, that doesn't necessarily work. But
yeah,
you really need, you have to be the one to do some of the work here. You got to take action and you got to do what it is that you need to do to create the life that you want and not expect the world around you to change so you don't have to. And I think that's a powerful thing. But
I agree.
Now, can you tell us how we can contact you, like how the viewers can contact you if they want to get a hold of you?
Certainly. I have a website, which is thetransformationalist.com. And on the website are all my contact information. You can also email me at thetransformationalist@gmail.com. I'm on Facebook. Please come find me. Karen Popoff, The Transformationalist. And I have a blog, and that's under karenpopoff.ca.
And just for our viewers, there's going to be a link at the bottom of this video, so you'll be able to click it, and it'll go directly to Karen's website, so you can click on that as well. And as well, at the end of the where the credits are, the website will be listed there, so you can pause the video and write it down and go for it. So I encourage everyone, contact Karen. She's an amazing healer, and she'll definitely transform your life. And Karen, do you have any final thoughts or things that you would like to leave us with?
Yes, I think that if you're thinking you need to improve your life, then you need to improve your life. And I encourage anybody at that moment to take action, because that is your deepest knowingness talking to you. And that is the way that you can transform your life.
Absolutely. I couldn't agree more. Well, this has been another video by Passage to Yourself. I'm Sharon Lorraine Boon, and thank you so much, Karen, for joining us. And I wish everyone here the best, and thank you again, Karen.
Thank you, Sharon. It's been a pleasure chatting with you.
Absolutely, you too. Bye now, everyone.
Bye.